What's going on, Sooner Nation? The Oklahoma Sooners, they crush or dominate, whatever word you want to use, Illinois State 35-3. And although the game was a little slow, it felt super vanilla. I think we learned a lot this week around just an improved Oklahoma offense going into the season. So we got Michigan next week, but of course, we got to recap the game that was behind us now, the Illinois State game. So jump in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and hit that subscribe button. It's a Sunday morning, and we get a chance to recap the game, talk about what happened for Oklahoma against Illinois State in their 35-3 win. And it definitely wasn't the most exciting game ever. I will give you that one. It was sometimes a little hard to sit there and watch, but yeah, I mean, I really do feel like we learned a lot about this Oklahoma offense going into the rest of the season. And I think one of the things that we learned is John Mateer is basically as advertised. He's really good. John Mateer went 30 of 37 for 392 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, broke Baker Mayfield's record for most passing yards in an OU debut, which in 2016, that would have been Baker Mayfield's debut, which actually, fun fact, fun note, George Stoya put out a picture of Baker Mayfield's debut in the box sheet there. Very similar stats across the board from a passing standpoint and a running standpoint. So very interesting there. And hey, 2016 might have been a good year for Oklahoma. So you look at the offensive line, and I think that's where a lot of people are going to point to there's an issue for Oklahoma. You had Sexton go out after just playing 6 snaps. But overall, it felt like the offensive line played pretty well from a pass blocking standpoint. I actually went and looked at the grades this morning, and maybe it was a little better than I thought. Fabichi Wewu had an 81.8 grade. Troy Everett, 81.4. Jake Michaela, 81. Eddie Pierre-Louis, who really glad we finally got to see him in some significant role. He had an 80.2 grade. Luke Blakenko, I think I said that right, 79.2. When Jacob Sexton was in there, he had a 79 grade. Javante Barnes had a 78.4 grade. Logan Howland, 73.6. And then you had Jaren Kanak at 67.5, who Jaren Kanak had 48 offensive snaps. And yeah, we'll talk about Jaren Kanak here in a second. So obviously, I think the big glaring hole for the offensive line is going to be run blocking. It really felt like the running backs could not find the holes, or there wasn't the holes existing. But again, it also just felt very vanilla. It didn't feel like they were trying to do anything with switching or running like any specific plays to get the running backs engaged too much. So I'm not sure we can be 100% too worried yet. I think you're worried if the same play translate next week against Michigan, right? I think Michigan is where you're going to open up the playbook, obviously. And that's where I think we're going to really find out what this offense is made of. So not really going to be too concerned with a lot of these things that we're going to talk about in a negative manner today, but I do think there's a lot of positives that we can take out of today. Like Jaren Kanak. Jaren Kanak played 48 offensive snaps, and I mean, he was leaps and bounds probably one of the best players today. Like, he was an absolute surprise. Jaren Kanak had 5 receptions for 90 yards, didn't have a touchdown. He had that one fumble, which of course everyone was like, oh no, like, everybody got like, they all cringed right there, right? No, I mean, Jaren Kanak looked pretty good, guys. I felt good about it. Did you feel good? Because I was worried about the tight end coming in, and I'm like, okay, if Jaren Kanak can play the way he did, if he can block the way he did, especially in pass blocking, if he can be a guy that can go out there and get you 2-3 receptions a game, along with what we saw from Will Huggins, who got a reception, Carson Kent got a reception, maybe this tight end room won't be as bad as we thought. Jaren Kanak is just a freak athlete. But he goes out there, he puts the ball on the ground, and then comes back out the next drive. And just, I mean, it's like he didn't even do it, right? He did just completely slipped his mind, and Oklahoma fans should feel really good about what they have at tight end and Jaren Kanak after the first game. That just looked really good. And I'm excited to see that they were able to use the tight end in that game. Uh, Obviously, Keontez Lewis probably had to be your player of the day outside of John Mateer on the offensive side of the ball. 9 receptions, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. I really liked all the dink and dunk passes. I really liked being able to see, just them kind of utilize that chemistry a little bit, kind of build it up. And, I thought it was really good. So, overall, you had a big pass to Jacob Jordan. And he was I think, a big part late for Oklahoma as a guy at the wide receiver position who kind of came up. And so I was glad to see him not get lost in the shuffle with a lot of these other wide receivers. Deion Burks had 7 receptions for 88 yards. So obviously really good to see Deion Burks get back out there, be healthy. Torrey Blaylock. Let's talk about Torrey Blaylock for a second. The true freshman running back. 8 carries, 44 yards, 1 touchdown. He might have been like the one bright spot at the running back position. It felt like he was the one that maybe saw the field a little bit better. He was able to find the holes for the little holes that were there. He did have that 1 touchdown. There was one play where you thought Torrey Blaylock was going to break off past the defense, but again, the rushing game wasn't super great, but I also think a lot of that was because you didn't have any complex blocking schemes or anything like that. Like, again, it was a super vanilla game overall on the offensive side of the ball. So, I'll be more worried if you can't run the ball against Michigan. And I get it. Michigan's got a good defensive line, but Oklahoma, what they showed today should not be what we will see all season. Now, I said that last year, and Oklahoma was really bad. So fingers crossed that this was just not a red flag that we're all intentionally wanting to ignore because it was an FCS opponent, right? And so we just want to go with the instant, hey, it was a vanilla game. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, kind of a lot to talk about. They had 5 pass breakups, 5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. They didn't get any turnovers. I felt like they probably could have got more sacks, but Illinois State was really trying to get the ball out quickly. Owen Heineke was your second leading tackler with 4 tackles. Samuel Masigo was your leading tackler, 8 total tackles, 3 solos. He had a sack and a tackle for loss. Gentry Williams and Cortland Guillory were out there a lot at corner and really kept Illinois State from wanting to throw the ball. Like that was pretty comfortable to me. Like, Illinois State only had 34 passing yards. They threw the ball 20 times. So, I mean, if you're Oklahoma, I think you feel pretty good about what you have at corner. But again, it's an FCS team, so it's really hard to read from a defensive perspective. And again, like, you probably would have wanted them to have more sacks, but Illinois State was trying to get the ball out quickly. So there were multiple times that they got to the backfield and created coverage, like, breaking down the pocket that I really liked. And I think that translate down the road in the season. But again, I think just like the offense, we'll find more about this defense as we go to play Michigan. One more note that I think would be important to call out. Isaiah Satega was returning punts, and he had 4 of them for 63 yards. I thought he looked really good. He averaged 15.8 yards per return. And if you're Oklahoma, I don't think we've really had a great punt returner over the past couple of years. So I'm kind of excited to see what we have in Isaiah Satega and what he can be for Oklahoma in the punt return game. But at the end of the day, Oklahoma wins this game 35-3. And I mean, a lot to take away from it, and at the same time, not a lot to take away from it. Very vanilla offense, very vanilla defense. Didn't really want to put a lot on the playbook to give Michigan or anybody else an advantage with, hey, all new wide receivers, new quarterback, a new offensive coordinator. Completely get it. But you got to come out and you got to be ready against Michigan. Some of these guys that were sitting out today, they have to be ready against Michigan. This is the biggest game in Norman in a long, long time. If you're Brent Venables, you can't afford to go out there and lose that game. If you do, you're probably going to be left outside the gates of Gaylord Memorial Family Stadium. So, all right, that's going to be it for today. Pretty simple. Like I said, not a lot to this one, but jump in the comments below. Join the discussion. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and hit that subscribe button.